This morning, a bloody 4th of July weekend has come to a close, with police reporting scores of shootings. Between Saturday morning through last night, at least 11 have died. The NYPD says there were 37 shooting incidents over the weekend, with a total of 56 victims.
CBS News' John Diaz live in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn this morning with more for us. John?
Yeah, good morning, Chris and Natalie. And as many New Yorkers spent the holiday weekend celebrating America's independence, many other people, though, spent it dodging bullets, recovering in the hospital, and nearly a dozen families getting the news that a loved one died due to gun violence. And the latest shooting happening right here behind me in the Bed-Stuy section of Brooklyn, here on Van Buren Street. You can see police still out here on the scene, telling us that the shooting happened last night about 11 o'clock at night. According to authorities, the victim right now is still fighting for his life in the hospital.
Today, New York City is still reeling from a weekend of violence. The numbers don't lie. Shootings have increased 140% compared to this time last year. The latest in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, where a 25-year-old man was shot in the stomach on Van Buren Street and rushed to the hospital in serious condition. Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams says it's a sign there needs to be a citywide plan to combat violence.
We need to have an emergency meeting with the police commissioner, as well as all of the organizations that are associated with dealing with violence in the city, to map out a real plan of dealing with gun violence.
In Harlem on Sunday, crime scene tapes stretched across Madison and East 110th Street, where police investigated the shooting of a teenager who was expected to be okay. And neighbors hate to say it, but expected something like this to happen.
Kind of common around here, this neighborhood. It's common. You know, it happens. You know, every summer's the same thing.
At 171st and Morris Avenue in the Bronx, NYPD officers investigated another shooting, this one involving two men. Both rushed to the hospital. Around the same time in this East Flatbush neighborhood, a different shooting happened early Sunday morning on East 39th Street.
They fired 4 shots, and then everybody disappeared.
Those bullets went through the front and back windshields of this white SUV. A trail of blood also left behind by the two victims. One was a 19-year-old man who died at the hospital.
It's sad. It's sad. It don't feel right. Waking up, somebody got killed right in front of my house. I got boys and all that.
In Inwood, authorities say 5 people were shot overnight into Sunday. One suffered a gunshot wound to the head, and in Morningside Heights, a 23-year-old man was killed after being shot in the back. Former New York Police Commissioner Ray Kelly on the radio Sunday morning pointed to a possible cause for all the shootings.
Here, the mayor eliminated the anti-crime units, which are probably the most effective tool that's existed in the department for decades to fight violent street crime. So that was a direct signal of surrender.
Meantime, a City Hall spokesperson saying, quote, "The health and safety of New Yorkers is our top priority, which is why we are drilling down on problem spots with the NYPD." But on Twitter, harsh words for the district attorney from police leaders. NYPD Patrol Borough Manhattan South wrote in part, "Manhattan DA Cy Vance, where are you? No show at any shooting scene. Our community is being attacked." And for Manhattan North, complete no show. Shame.
And Vance's office responded last night saying that typically it is the assistant district attorney's responsibility to show up to crime scenes, adding that it is unclear what exactly the DA himself could do if he were to show up to these scenes. Meanwhile, happening later on this afternoon, the NYPD will be hosting a press conference briefing reporters about its monthly crime numbers. Of course, we'll be giving you those latest details, those latest numbers later on today. But for now, we are live this morning from the Bed-Stuy section of Brooklyn. John Diaz, CBS 2 News.